Hey everyone, welcome back. Hope you guys are having a great Tuesday. Today was a fun day, obviously, for us in the markets. A lot of the miners were up today. Bitcoin was up nicely today. We have a potential buyout by CoreWeave in buying out CORZ Scientific. At least it's rumored right now. We don't have anything definitive, but we'll take a look at it. And what else we do have in the, today? We have Cipher reporting May operation update along with Cleanspark, Riot, and Terawulf. So we have a lot to get through here today. We'll get through everything, then we'll get into the Q&A side of things as well. But as always, you guys know the drill here. Not financial advice for entertainment only. You know the drill, obviously. Do your own research. And I don't get paid by any Bitcoin mining companies. So if you enjoy this type of content, hit the like button, subscribe. Helps me out tremendously. But first, let's take a look at what's going on with Bitcoin charts and things like that. And we'll get into the miners as well on it. So here's what we have on the network hash rate right now. It is coming back up here a little bit on the 7-day average. We are up to right now, what is that at? 587. So we're up from the, what was that before? 566. So it's starting to climb back up here a little bit as Bitcoin price continues to go up in value. Obviously, that helps things out. And then if we look at the 30-day, which is what I usually look at, in the 30-day average, we are right now at 600 exahash right now. I still think by the end of the year, we're going to be like around 800 to 900 potentially. We'll see how close we get to that. Then when we look at the Bitcoin transaction fees per day, I got this chart to work here. For some reason, it only works in the bright mode or daytime mode. So we are at right now at 35 BTC per day on average. That's come down from yesterday where we were at 43. So we're still pretty high. It's not as high as we've been in the past, but it's still nice to see that it's up there right now. Okay, and then obviously we have also the hash price index. We can see that the hash price right now is at, let's see here, is at $57 per day right now per petahash. So that's not looking too bad either. And then when we look at the miners themselves and Bitcoin, Bitcoin had a great day today. It was up quite nicely. It was up approximately 2.55%, closed at 70,542. We're above the 70,000 mark once again, which is nice to see. And then we're up again a little bit here in the after hours, or the new day actually. We're up 0.53% to 70,913 and change roughly. So a good day for Bitcoin, but then we had obviously some good miners and that did really good day. We only had really, two miners that were down a day for some reason. Argo was down 2.17% along with Mawson. They were down 0.83%. And then CORZ, well, the fact is that they came out with the news yesterday that they have a 3.5 billion contract with CoreWeave. That's for like 12 years, 12, 13 years or something like that. They're going to be building out 200 megawatts for HPC, AI things as well. And then we got news this morning, potentially, it's not, what's the word I'm looking for? It's not verified yet, just a rumor right now, that CoreWeave might be looking to buy out CORZ Scientific for about $1 billion at like $5.75 right now. Obviously, the stock is much, much higher than that. Stock right now is at $6.83. It was up in the after hours as well. It's up about 2% in the after hours right now. So it was up 40% today on huge news here. And I talked about this yesterday when we covered the story with CoreWeave signing with CORZ Scientific for the 12 years or so for $3.5 billion. I said at that point, I wouldn't be surprised if CoreWeave makes an offer for CORZ Scientific potentially. It wouldn't only make sense. They have huge pockets right now, deep pockets, where they have a lot of capital that was invested in them. They're valued at like 19 billion or something like that right now. So like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if this happened. And right now we're having kind of these rumors swirling around that it might happen, but we'll get into that here shortly. Who else is really good today? IREN was up really nice today. IREN was up 11.13%. It went up much higher than that. It reached a high today. At least, well, not an all-time high, but at least a high here. The high on it was, let's see, where was it? $9.39. So that was really good for it. Who else is pretty good today here? Looking at the other ones. Other ones were kind of, BitTier was up 12.78%. I think that might be on the news as well, what happened with Core here a little bit, right? They're looking to get into the AI side of things as well. Maybe that's benefiting them a little bit there. BitDigital was up nicely as well, 9.37%. I think that was just a little benefit from the CoreWeave news with CORZ Scientific as well. And then everybody else was kind of like 3, 5, 2%, 5. DMG was up 9.68%. Hive was up 7.75%. So all around a really good day. And then Wolf was up 22% today. For some reason, they did report their May production update, but I didn't see anything in there that was, well, they had a little bit of news in there as well for the AI side of things as well, I believe. Maybe that's what triggered it a little bit there. Okay, but that's basically it. Great day overall. We need, let's say, 15, 20, or 30 more days like this, and we'll be looking much, much better here with the mining stocks overall. Okay. So let's get into the stories that we do have here. The first one's going to be on Core. So CoreWeave offers about $1 billion for Core Scientific, and it is rumored right now, right? We don't have any official statements from them. So supposedly CoreWeave has offered to acquire Bitcoin miner Core Scientific for about $1 billion. A person with knowledge of this matter said, right? This person didn't want to be named in this. CoreWeave's all-cash bid of $5.75 per share for the Austin-based Texas Core Scientific was made on Monday, and comes as the company seeks to expand its artificial intelligence data center capacity, according to the person. So we don't know if this is how truthful this is, or this is just being made up. Who knows? But it'll be interesting to see if we do get any kind of press releases from either Core Scientific or CoreWeave in general. But CoreWeave's offer represents a 55% premium to Core Scientific's 3-month volume-weighted average price as of May 31st. The person said asking not to be identified, discussing confidential information. So maybe there is some truth to this. And then representatives for Roseland, New Jersey-based CoreWeave and Core Scientific declined to comment. So there might be some truth to this, right? Because if this wasn't true or anything like that, they would have just said, no, this is false, whatnot, right? I think that's about it in here. So the interesting part of it, obviously, is that, at least to me, is the way that CoreWeave has done this, right? First, they go in and get a contract with Core Scientific for 12 years or 13 years, whatever it was, I can't remember exactly, for $3.5 billion being paid out to Core Scientific for the hosting side of things. They're also giving Core Scientific $300 million to build out the infrastructure that's going to be needed to host the HPCs and AI business there. Okay, so that kind of makes sense there, that they would go in and get a contract first, and then potentially go in and ask to buy them out, right? Because if you ask to buy them out in the beginning and you give maybe like a lower price offer, which $575 was actually not that bad. It's 55% premium from where it was on the average, at least. Core Scientific could be, I wouldn't say, well, maybe they could be upset about the offer, right? Or they might not like it, whatever it might be. And then if you try going in and negotiating a deal with them to host the machines there for them, you may not get as favorable terms that way. So going in and getting the deal first for hosting, I think, is a better way to go, and then see if you can buy them out potentially. That way you at least lock in your hosting side of the business and you don't have to worry about it going forward, right? So it's interesting to see how this is going to play out. We'll see if we get any information from CoreWeave or from Core Scientific as well on this, but I kind of said this might happen yesterday. So interesting things are happening here. We got potentially CoreWeave buying out Core Scientific, Riot trying to buy out Bitfarms. Who else is going to be on the chopping block potentially, or on the on somebody's list to buy them out going forward? But that is it on Core. We'll talk about that, obviously, if you guys have questions on it later on. And let's get into the mining updates here. First one is going to be from Cipher Mining. They announced May 2024 operational update. There's pretty nice and short and sweet here. So they mined 166 BTC. This also includes power sales estimates based on current meter data and nodal prices, equivalent to about 8 BTC, using month-end Bitcoin price of 67,000 roughly, okay? BTC sold 50, BTC held is now up to 2,142, and the month-end operating hash rate is at 8 exahash right now. Okay, management commentary from May. Also, Cipher's power provider at its Odessa data center has used a significant amount of its annual curtailment budget year to date in advance of the 4 summer months that typically feature peak demand in Texas. Given the hot weather forecast for the summer and Cipher's unique ability to resell power secured under a contract at a low fixed price, the company expects to be well positioned to benefit if high market prices materialize this summer, meaning they will be possibly curtailing at like those 4 peak times or something like that, or around those times, and making money off it that way through selling the power back into the grid. As we complete the expansion at Bear and Chief, we continue to grow our total self-mining capacity, which is now approximately 8 exahash. With our power hedged at low price, strong balance sheet, and continuing expansion plans, we expect to thrive in the post-halving environment, said Tyler Page, CEO of Cipher. Bear and Chief are the ones that they have a joint venture in with those, okay? Let's see here. We are also delighted to announce that the company has signed a term sheet to acquire a new site in Cotulla, I'm guessing that's how you pronounce it, Texas, for $2.5 million. The site features at least 70 megawatts of capacity available in 2026. So that's quite a ways out. You're looking at a year and a half out, with the potential to expand to 200 megawatts. Nonetheless, I think this is good news, right? You want to continue to grow your infrastructure and things like that, your land assets and power assets and things like that, going forward, even beyond the potential bull market and then maybe the bear market that we have to follow after that. But this is good news here. They can grow forward here in the bear market potentially as well. So I think this is really good news there. And this is one of their pictures here. This is 30 megawatt expansion at bear is energized and ramping hash rate. So it looks like, I can't tell if those are containers, but they kind of look like containers, like the shipping containers in here. So pretty quick and easy build out that you can tell here. It's all air cooled here. We don't have any immersion, looks like, at least not on this right now. Okay, so that is it for Cipher. Let's take a look at my charts, my data that I have on them, and then we'll get into the next one. So Cipher has right now about 296 million shares outstanding. Market cap is about 1.15 or 1.14 billion. Their performance over the last 12 weeks hasn't been that great. They're down 1.9% from 12 weeks ago. They're down 19.7% from 8 weeks ago. They're down 0.3% from 4 weeks ago. And last week, they were down 9.29%. Current hash rate, 7.7. They said 8. Did I not update this? What do I have this at? Total hash rate. Oh, yeah, I did not. Okay, well, I forgot to do something here. I'm trying to update 4 companies at the same time. Sometimes you miss something here, and I did miss something here. Nope. Don't want to do that. Don't want to do that either. Okay, so I'll fix that here. Sorry about that. But I want to make sure I get this right. So here to here, we want to copy that, and then we want to paste it over here, and then we should. Why is it not copying? Copy and paste. Let's do this. We'll do it the other way around. There we go. Okay, so now we should be getting the right number. If I did this correctly, yep. All right, they're at 8 exahash right now. All right, so that all works out. Future hash rate, about 17 exahash. They do have an option to buy more this year if they can build out their Black Pearl site. That would get them potentially to even higher hash rate, but right now this is mostly planned for 2025 upgrades going forward. Okay. Their HODL position right now is about 12% of their market cap value as it is. Their HODL is 2,142, and that's valued about 145 million right now. Self-mining BTC is down to 147. We expected this to happen because of the halving event. That's 114 difference from last month. And what I'm seeing right now, at least the averages for all the miners, is about 44% decrease in Bitcoin production from the prior month, which we kind of expected. Or at least I expected that, because April still had about 19 days of pre-halving revenue, or BTC being mined, and then you had about 11 days or so after that. So this is expected to decrease based on the numbers that we have seen here. Revenue came down to 9.6 million here. BTC HODL increased to 2,142 that we talked about. This is a nice steady path of increase here, which I like to see. Total hash rate has increased to 8 exahash here, and that's looking pretty good. They increased about 300 petahash in May, which is still pretty good. And then what do we have here? Bitcoin sold. They sold 57 BTC based on my numbers here, at least my math that I have it for. And then Bitcoin's per exahash efficiency is about 20.07. So on the average side of things, not on the top side, but on the average side of things. And then Bitcoin sold value there. Going down here, institutions. Institutions did increase to 186, which is nice to see. Shares also increased to 60 million. Percentage owned by institutions now 19.72. We still have 2 strong buy ratings, 4 buy ratings, 1 hold rating, and price targets actually increased for them to 7.5 for the high, 583 for the average, and $5 for the low end. Okay, going down here, what did we install this time around in May? It looks like in May we installed these 200 Terrace miners, about 1,500 of them or so, to get us to the 8 exahash here that's owned. And that is part of the, they have a percentage of the Alvarez, Bear, and Chief sites, which they get, I think those are 19% or something like that. On that, I'm going off memory here, somewhere around there, right? So they don't have all of it. They get a portion of it from that. And let me see here, 49%, sorry, it's not 90%, 49%. So I got my calculator here. 49% of that is for their self-mining there, okay? They got us to, let's see here, for Odessa, for their self-mined, it was 9.6 million. That's kind of what we're going by here. Total was about 12.1, Total was 10.8 million in revenue combined. Okay, going up here, where are they valued at right now, and where do I think they should be valued at? This is just roughly where they are for the past 3 quarters and the current quarter that we're in, which is estimated. I'm looking at like $5.35 to $8.02, right? The analysts are looking at $7.50 and $5 for the low, kind of in line where I have them right now. So we are in agreement, at least currently, where they should be kind of valued, all things being equal between the miners. We know sometimes they're not. Growth gets more rewarded than anything else here, and we don't have a lot of growth for this year, and I think that's why the stock is kind of where it's at right now, unfortunately. Okay, but I do think it's undervalued from where it should be, if all things were given equal, like I said. And if Bitcoin goes up in value going forward here, that will obviously also have an impact on it, and it should increase their outlook forward. Okay, but that is it. Overall, good operations, good things happening. Oh, what did they mine for? How many days did I have them mining for in May? Based on my calculations, they were mining for about 26.6 days in May. Okay, so that is it on that one. Let's get into our next one here, which is going to be on Cleanspark. So Cleanspark releases May 2024 Bitcoin mining update. Here we go. Meanwhile, as we maximize the performance of our existing fleet, we remain highly active in the M&A space. We expect to close on the first site in Wyoming in the coming days and continue to aggressively seek additional opportunities that align with Cleanspark Way. So we really don't have any updates as far as what's going on with the other site that was owned by a Chinese company potentially. And President Biden put a ban on it, on the sale to the Chinese company or something like that. They're still, I'm guessing, working this out, or they've completely moved on from that. We don't know. We don't have any updates on it, unfortunately. Okay, Bitcoin mined 417. Total Bitcoin holdings was is up now to 6,154. Total Bitcoin sold was 2.43. And then current end of month hash rate was about 18 exahash, 17.97. And that's kind of where I have them right now as well. Operational update, Dalton expansion, grading is complete and building permits have been issued. Conduit installation for the primary cables is complete and concrete forms are being installed. That's great. Once complete, the expansion will run a fleet of S21s in a 15 megawatt facility for a hash rate of approximately 0.8 exahash per second. After the expansion is complete, the Cleanspark Dalton campus will consist of 4 independent data centers and is expected to operate at 2.4 exahash. So that is pretty good there. So they're getting closer to their 20 exahash target, which they're planning to get to by the end of June. So we still have 1 more month, and they basically need to install 2 exahash to get there. We'll see if they can get to it, but they're making small progress here lately, which is good to see. Okay, take a look at Cleanspark here. Cleanspark, right now, 227 million shares roughly outstanding, stock price at 1609. That gives us a market cap of 3.6 billion. Their performance over the last 12 weeks hasn't been also that great. They're down 10% from 12 weeks ago, down 17% from 8 weeks ago. They were up 3.2% from 4 weeks ago, and then last week they were down 8.85%. Current hash rate, about 18 exahash. Future hash rate, they're targeting 50 exahash. I guess the 6 exahash is going to be to swap out older machines that they have at some of the facilities. But right now, based on what they have purchased, I have them at 56 exahash. Hash rate left, approximately 38. If you take out the 6, you're looking at 32 exahash growth. And going down here, let's see here. Their Bitcoin hodl is 6,154. That's valued at about 419 million right now, and that's only 11% of their market cap right now. Looking at their BTC production here, that's down to 417 from 721 that they had in April. And they're also like 44% something down from the prior month. So we're kind of seeing that consistency across the board here with the miners at least. Monthly revenue here, down to 27.19 million. Their average here over the last 12 months is 26.38, so they're slightly above that. Going into the BTC hodl, you can see how their hodl has basically since May of last year started to ramp up in the amount of hodl that they have actually. And it's a huge increase from where they were. They increased it by about 5,600 or so Bitcoin just in the last 12 months. That's a huge increase there. Hash rate, you can see here that their hash rate has continued to grow ever since February, when we had that nice increase there. And then ever since then, we've been seeing about 400 to about 900 petahash to another 700 petahash or so, something like that. So we're still continuing to see that growth happening here, which is nice to see. Bitcoin sold, you can see they've been barely selling anything the last, 5 months. Prior to that, they sold a little bit here in October, November, December, sold a little bit in July, August, and September. And then BTC per exahash efficiency at 23.2, which is pretty good. Bitcoin sold value, how much they sold. Going down here to the institutions. Institutions did increase for them as well to 328. Shares increased to 108.6 million. Percentage increased to 48.25. We still have this 2 strong buy ratings, 3 buy ratings, 1 hold rating, and price targets stay the same at $30 for the high, average at 25, and the low at 20. Okay. Going down here, what did we install here this time around? Let's see here. We installed for May. It looks like we got some of these 20. Yeah, these are the excuse me, the 200 exahash miners here. And those were operating in approximately 22 days. We also installed some of these 140 terahash miners as well, just to kind of get them all filled in, because those should have been probably filled in by now anyways. So those got filled in. We got that filled in, and that got us to the 17.97 exahash that they're at right now. Excuse me. And then I added about 1.75 million in Bitcoin transaction fees added on top of it. The way I calculated it, I looked at the daily numbers or the daily figures for Bitcoin transaction fees, and what was the average of that during the month. And that's how I was able to figure out it's about 6.44% roughly in additional Bitcoin transaction fees on average for the miners here. Okay. So that covers all of that. They were operating for about 29.8 days, so pretty good there. Actually, really good there as far as operations are concerned. Going up over here, we can see that I have them valued for the last 3 quarters in the current quarter that we're in, which is estimated at about $14.91 on the low end to $22.36 on the lower end. I'm actually a little bit lower than what the analysts are looking at. Analysts are looking at $30 to $20. I'm down a little bit lower than that. I think maybe the analysts are a little bit more bullish on them than I am currently, at least for the current operations looking back, right? They're at $16.09. I think they're fairly valued to slightly undervalued from where they really probably should be compared to their other peers, especially with their great operations. So takeaways for this is Cleanspark is still definitely one of the best miners here. They continue to increase their hash rate, which is good to see. We need to see if they can reach the 20 exahash by the end of June. They didn't provide any guidance on that or anything else, so we'll see what happens there. And then they just need to build out basically infrastructure going forward as well. They got basically 6 to 7 months roughly to get to 32 exahash, which was their goal for the end of the year. So they need to kind of giddy up on that a little bit, speed that process up potentially. They need to buy some sites and get them set up for the growth that they need. Okay, but that's it for Cleanspark. Let's take a look at the next one here, which is going to be on Riot. So Riot announced May 2024 production and operational updates. Bitcoin produced 215. Bitcoin held 9,084. This might now make them second largest. We'll have to see what Hot 8 comes in at. Oh, excuse me, man, I'm tired. Sorry for the yawn. 9,084. I think that might make them second to Marathon, depending on where Hot 8 comes in at. Okay, deployed hash rate at Rockdale is 11.5, so that's actually down from the 12.4 they had in April, but they are swapping out miners there. I'm surprised they would take out that many miners and not swap them out automatically or right away. So that was a little interesting there, but they are doing that. And then deployed hash rate at Corsicana was 3.1 exahash. Nice increase here from the 0.2 that they started out in April. Let's see, deployed hash rate is now 14.7. Average operational hash rate 7.4. And for Rockdale, Corsicana 1.4. Obviously, it's going to be a little bit lower because you're installing miners at that point. So you're not going to have the full 3.1 exahash for the month of May. It's going to be mostly like half or a little bit maybe after half. So not bad. All in all, 8.8 exahash. Still a lot of curtailment going on there. You can see that in the power credits here. So they got 4.2 million in power credits and 3.1 million in demand response credits for a total of 7.3 million. That's a nice increase from what they had in April here, which was only 2.1 million. And we're probably going to see that go up even more here in the summer months. That is usually when they curtail the most, or during the time, because the heat and everything else. People need to have power to cool our homes, everything else. So that's usually the time when they curtail the most on it. Okay. Now, looking at some other things that we have here. Here's some statements from, so the first 100 megawatt building at the Corsicana facility, building A1, is now fully developed and the miner deployment is nearing completion. The substantial portion of these miner deployment occurred towards the end of the month, right? So that's why we're seeing the lower average hash rate. And in total, added 3.1 exahash to Riot's self-mining capacity, bringing Riot's total self-mining capacity to 14.7 exahash. We have been extremely pleased with the performance of the immersion system and micro BT miners at our Corsicana facility during the first few weeks of operation, and we are seeing strong results for uptime amidst varying operational conditions. Our attention now turns to miner deployment in our second 100 megawatt building at Corsicana Building A2 beginning in June. So this is all good here, right? We had some thoughts, we had some doubts maybe a little bit as well as far as why was Riot looking to buy Bitfarms. Some of the thoughts that were running around in there was maybe they are having issues growing their hash rate there, but based on what we're seeing here, I don't see a problem with them getting to potentially their 31 exahash that they want to get to by the end of the year, as long as they execute like this going forward on installing miners and everything else. Okay. And then we got some pictures of the facility here. We got building A1, B2 here, or B1 here, and this is pretty elaborate. So you got the dry coolers here for the immersion fluid there. You got the transformers over here, and it's all enclosed here. So you got really no, other than having the door open, you really shouldn't be getting dust in that facility at any point. And they do have some vents up here on top as well to kind of blow air out as well. Maybe some fans in there as well. But really fascinating facility there. And you can see how the size of this thing is huge. So they broke this out into basically A1, so that's the first half. A2 is way over here, and then they're doing another one here, B1 and B2 as well, as that all builds out. So, I mean, look at the number of dry coolers here for the. That's a lot of investment there. That's a lot of money in those buildings and that site there. Okay, operational update here at the Rockdale facility. Teams have been begun in deinstalling problematic miner models, and deployments of new micro BT 60S miners have commenced. As a result, deployed hash rate in May at the Rockdale facility temporarily decreased by approximately 850 petahash. Month over month, deployments of new M60S miners are expected to continue and accelerate through the month of June. Okay, so that's good there. But like I said, I'm surprised that they uninstalled all of those machines in advance of getting the new ones. But if they were problematic, I mean, at that point, are you really mining that efficiently with those things anyways? So maybe you're better off taking those things out anyways. Okay, at the Corsicana facility, a lightning strike occurred in May, which resulted in the decision to pause all operations for a period of approximately 3 days out of an abundance of caution while all systems were assessed. Once it was confirmed that lightning protection systems functioned as anticipated, mining operations resumed. So that's good there. The last thing we need there is the brand new facility and building and everything else and have a lightning strike and have it be down for 9 to 12 months like we had with the Rockdale facility with building F or G. I can't remember which one it was. So that's good to know that is working actually pretty good for them. Okay, what else do we have here? I think that is anticipated hash rate. Yeah, that is basically it. So overall, it's good to see that they are growing. Let's take a look at my numbers here for Riot, and we'll get into Terawulf, and we'll call it a day here. So Riot right now has about 271 million shares outstanding, stock price $9.67, market cap 2.6 billion, and their performance over the last 12 weeks hasn't been great either. So they're down 40% from 12 weeks ago. From 8 weeks ago, they're down 14%. From 4 weeks ago, they're up 5.9%, and then last week they were down 6.08%. Okay, current hash rate. Wait in this update here, 12.4. This should be. Okay. Well, I just didn't follow something here. 12.4. Okay, didn't update this part here. So that's got to be here. Let's take a look at this one. That one's way down over there. That should be over here. Okay, and then that is for that. Okay, that is for that. Okay, we're good there. Okay, sorry about that. Back up here. Let's go current hash rate 4.7 exahash. Future hash rate of about 40 exahash roughly. Hash rate left 26 exahash. Plenty of growth there. Their current HODL 9,084. is valued at 618 million right now. It's about 23% of their market cap right now. Bitcoin production here. Basically, you could say it really kind of peaked in May of last year, 676. And there was a downward trend through the summer. Then they kind of started getting their operations back up into the cooler months, right, into fall and winter. And then they peaked in December of 619. And then we're starting that downward trend again here. So they're down to 215 BTC mined. That's down 160 from the prior month. Looking at the revenue here, down to 14.02 million. Their BTC HODL has been increasing here slowly through most of last year, and then just recently they've started picking that up quite nicely here. Like I said, I think this puts them basically in number 2 spot here potentially, depending on how much Hut 8 sold or if they sold any, or if they HODLed it. But that's kind of what we're looking at. Hash rate growth here has been, you could say, kind of in stages. They were at 10.5, 10.7, 11.7, 12.4 for a while there, 12.6, and then 14.7 exahash right now. Bitcoin sold here, you can see that they've been selling a lot less here in the last 4 months. BTC per exahash efficiency, 14.55, not very efficient. So I may start running numbers on them on Riot, especially for Riot, because it curtails so much. If it will make more sense for them to actually mine instead of curtailing and getting the power credits, but that, it's kind of complicated there. But BTC sold value, how much they sold, going down here into institution side of things. Institutions did increase as well to 435. Shares actually went up to 127 million, and the percentage went up to 44%. We still have 4 strong buy ratings, 8 buy ratings, and then we got the price target actually went down here a little bit. So the high went down to 22, average went down to 17.86, and the low went down to $13 for them. Okay, going down here as far as the miners are concerned here, what did we do? I did get rid of some of these older generation miners here, which they said that they're going to be moving out, right? So these are the 90 terahash miners over here. Got rid of quite a few of them here. And then installed the M's, I think I installed maybe the M66s here instead of the M50s, M60s S's here. So I installed the newer ones, the higher ones here, but we still get to 14.7 exahash, so it doesn't really make a difference there on it too much. That got us to 14.7 exahash. That's about 14 million, and I added about 902,000 in BTC transaction fees for them for the month. Okay. And then they were operating for about 18.5 days. So a lot of curtailment there based on what we're just seeing here. And they got, what, 7 some odd million here for it? What did they get? 7.3 million. So if they got 14 million for operating, yeah, I mean, kind of would have been a wash maybe at 7 million. If they were operating at, this is what, 2/3 of the month roughly. And that's 1/3 would have been about 7 million. So it would have been a wash, it looks like right now at least. Between mining and not mining. But if they can keep their power costs lower because of it, maybe it does make more sense that way. Yeah, we'll leave it there. I mean, you could say the only opposition to that could be potentially that if you mined more, you could hodl more, which and then as Bitcoin price goes up in value, you could make more on that. I would say that maybe that's one counter argument that you could have there. But as far as where they're valued at right now, based on the last 3 months last 3 quarters in the current quarter that we're in, which is estimated, I'll have them between $8.14 to $12.20. They're currently at $9.67. So even my targets for them right now are kind of low compared to where the analysts have them. So the analysts are a little bit more bullish on them than I am. And I still think that they are probably undervalued from where they should be, but we just need to see better operations coming out of the Corsicana facility. Because right now, we can see here that Corsicana on average was only 1.4. We need to see that closer to the 3.1, whatever they have that installed there the following month. So we need to see that improve, as Jason has stated that should be much, much better uptime than they do have at Rockdale right now. Okay, but that is basically it. The good things are they're still growing. They're getting hash rate installed, which is good to see. So there's really no issues there. But they just need to continue to do that, to continue to operate, and you need to improve their operations efficiencies. Get that up as much as they can going forward. Okay. So that's it for Riot. Let's take a look at Terawulf, and I got to take a sip of water because my throat's starting to get dry. Okay, Terawulf announces May 2024 production and operations updates, and there should be pretty sweet as well in short. So self-mined Bitcoin, 186 Bitcoin, power cost average is at 31,000 now. Operating capacity, Terawulf installed and operational self-mining capacity reached approximately 8 exahash. And then AI HPC pilot, advancing 2 megawatts AI pilot at Lake Mariner. Right, we talked about that was possibly why the stock went up quite nicely today. And then here we have the breakdown, self-mined at Lake Mariner, 144. And then Bitcoin self-mined at Nautilus, which is a joint venture there. That's 42. And then value per Bitcoin was 65,000. Power cost per Bitcoin self-mined was 31,000. So that's obviously an increase here from the 16,000 that we had pre-halving in April on that one. And let's see what else we have here. Management commentary. So the Lake Mariner team is making remarkable progress in Building 4, which is scheduled to complete construction in June and will house approximately 10,000 Bitmain's latest generation S21 and S21 Pro miners. Once online, Building 4 is expected to increase our total operating capacity to above 10 exahash, Continue Farrell. Looking ahead, we have already optimized a 15 megawatt modular building with local key contractors for building 5, which is currently anticipated to be online in Q1 2025. So they have a little bit of growth there as well. And that is basically it on them. Like I said, it's going to be pretty short and sweet for them. So let's get into Terawulf, and we'll get into the Q&A side of things here. So Terawulf, shares outstanding about 331 million right now. Stock price is at $2.51. Market cap 836 million. Their performance over the last 12 weeks hasn't been great either. They're down 12% from 12 weeks ago, down 11% from 8 weeks ago. From 4 weeks ago, they're down 2.2%, and then last week they were actually up 5.31%. Okay, current hash rate 8 exahash. BTC hodl, they don't hodl anything, they sell everything. And ooh, I forgot to update this. Nope, yeah, let's see here. See, I get a lot of these happening here recently. I got too much stuff on my mind here. There we go, that makes more sense. Okay, so Bitcoin produced here 144, down 125 from the prior month. Revenue here, this is for self-mined revenue estimated, is 9.39 million. Hodl, they don't hodl anything. Hash rate has pretty much stayed the same here from last month as well. BTC sold self and joint venture, sold 186 it looks like. BTC per exahash efficiency, pretty efficient here, pretty good, 23.24. And then BTC sold value for self-mining and JV, 12.13 million. Going down here to analysts, 187 institutions, 77 million shares, so that's an increase there as well. And then percentage, 23.2%, so that's an increase there as well. We still have this one strong buy rating, 5 buy ratings, and the price target of $4.20 for the high, $3.62 for the average, $3 for the low. Okay, so that is actually the same as we've had here for the since last month. Going down here, as far as which miners got installed, actually no miners got installed. But in May, they were mining for approximately 29.5 days. And then the self-mining portion of their business got 604,000 from the Bitcoin transaction fees. JV got about 176,000. Excuse me. And that's where I was able to calculate actually what their self-mining numbers are for that. Based on all the figures that we could kind of figure out as far as what their hash rate is and everything else. And yeah, obviously we've had a big decrease in revenues from all the miners really recently. Oop, didn't want to go that. I wanted to go back up here. So based on what we have there and everything else, I have in between $3.66 to $5.49. So my numbers are a little bit higher than the analysts. And again, this is for the last 3 quarters and the current quarter, which is estimated numbers. They're at 251. I do think that they're undervalued if all things were being equal again with all these guys here. Okay, based on their hash rate, what they're mining, things like that, and basically it. The big thing is for them, a lot of the growth doesn't happen until also like in 2025. They're just getting 10 exahash this year. And then we have here optional 5, 13, 20. So they have an option to get another 6 exahash. That's if they can build out their facility in time this year. They do have the option to get to 16 exahash potentially, but that's not possibly until 2025 sometime. So that's kind of where we are with them. And like I've said before, hash rate growth right now is pretty much king with these miners. If you're not growing, you're not really getting that valuation that you see with other miners, unfortunately. Okay, so that is it for Terawulf. Yeah, we'll call it a day here. So my little sales pitch here as always. Patreon members get access to all my spreadsheets, all the data that I collect and input, and takes me too much time to do this. But it's available to you guys, $8 a month. And then if you pay for the yearly, you get 10% off on that. And you might find a spot that's $5 or $4. And the link for this is all in the description down below for you guys if you guys want to join there as well. And you get access to the private Discord server as well. Okay, that's my sales pitch. That is it. Let's get to the Q&A side of things. See what you guys have questions on. We'll call it a day. Should be good. Okay, let me go to my screen here. See what you guys have to say. Sadie, yes, thank you. Likes help the channel. Yeah, if you guys enjoy the if you enjoy this type of content, hit the like button. Subscribe helps me out. Let's see. Okay. Okay. I think BTC ready to make another run after 3 months of sideways. Yeah, I mean, it looks like it wants to make a run. I agree there. If CoreWeave buys CORZ, they avoid having to go through the time-consuming process of getting listed on the stock exchange. They can just adopt the CORZ ticker, faster access to capital markets. Yeah, I think that would be a huge benefit for them there as well. Not to mention getting all the infrastructure and Bitcoin mining on top of it all. So that would be an interesting play there. I could even see them maybe paying even $2 billion for Core Scientific. Even if they do that, they're still possibly saving like $1.5 billion in the long run over the next 12 years or so. So there's a lot of benefit to them possibly buying them out if they can basically come up with the right price for it. Next one. So why do you think Riot pursuing Bitfarms if they on track to meet their goals? Also, did you see Mike Alfred mention he doesn't see Riot meeting their goals and that it would be something near impossible? Yeah, I heard that too. Right now, I'm not seeing that indication at least. Right? They increased by 3 exahash roughly in the month. They're at 14. They're trying to get to 31. They're at 14.7, right? So basically 15 exahash. So they need to install another 16 exahash. If they install, they would have to install, what would that be? Like 2 exahash over, like 2.5 exahash or something like that over the next 6-7 months or something like that each month. So we need to see if they can continue to do that. But right now, they're on a pretty good track. They're obviously building out, building A2 right now. They're continuing to build onto the A2, and then starting B1 as well. So it will greatly depend on them, their ability to build out that infrastructure, install all the hardware that has to go in there, all the immersion cooling, all the coolers or the chillers, all that stuff has to get installed, and any hiccups in that could delay them, obviously. Seb's tired. Get some rest for all the hard work you do for us. God bless. Yeah, thank you. No, I'm just tired because we have a lot of projects going on around the house. I just spent the last couple of days sanding and painting outdoor furniture that I built actually like 3 years ago. So that was tiresome. And then we're also redoing our kitchen. So I'm pulling up hardwood floors and everything else. It's a lot. So if I don't respond to you guys on YouTube and Discord and things like that, I've been busy with everything else going on here. So it's a little hectic, but we're getting through it. Question: I have Cleanspark, IREN, Bitfarms, looking to add another miner. I feel like CORZ ran away from me. What other miner would you suggest? I am thinking Riot, considering the price at $9. Riot might be a good candidate. So let's see. You have Cleanspark, IREN, and Bitfarms already. So you get like the top 3 ones that I'm in right now as it is. Oh, I forgot to mention, I did buy CORZ today. So a lot of you guys that have been pestering me to buy CORZ, not really pestering, but suggesting I buy CORZ, I did buy into it. I've been saying for a long time that I would buy into it, but man, the news that came out yesterday with the $3.5 billion in revenue for the next 12 years or so, that kind of kicked me in the butt a little bit and made me take the plunge a little bit faster than I probably would have. But I bought, what did I buy? I didn't buy a lot. I bought what I could afford, which was about 450 shares. I got in at 620, 645, and then 680. I think that was the targets or the prices that I was able to get in at. So I'm in CORZ with a very small amount of shares right now. My dad's really happy though. His shares are doing pretty good. So that's a good sign there that he's weathered the storm through the thick and thin of it all. But as far as what should you get into CORZ, so here's the quandary with CORZ potentially. Let's say CoreWeave actually offers them, $2 billion for the company. Well, at that point, you're going to possibly peak out at maybe $12, $13 a share, possibly, right? That's if Core Scientific accepts the offer. We don't know if they will, but we'll see. What else is there? But other than that, you got Riot, you got Riot could be a good one. Marathon could be also going. I mean, it's kind of up there as well. You got Bitfarms, you got IREN, you got Cleanspark as well. Who else is a good one to look into? I would say maybe CORZ and Riot and Marathon as well. Put those in there, and then we could also get a surprise from like Cipher and Terawulf if they can pay down their debt and get the miners this year still, right, to get to maybe 16 exahash by the end of the year. I think that would be bullish news for them as well. So there's a lot of good miners still out there that are pretty undervalued, I think. Question: what's your thoughts on Riot? They bought additional 5 million Bitfarms shares, now own 44.8 million shares or 11.3. Oh, I didn't see that. I'm guessing that was probably on the SEC website side of things. So they're still going possibly with the hostile takeover, maybe, if they're doing that. But they're going to be paying more for it. Bitfarms shares are going up. So I don't know. I don't know what their end game is there right now. Right? Bitfarms, obviously, if you guys watched the interview with Ben Gagnon on Bryce McNally's channel with Anthony, I mean, Ben basically lays it out, right? That it was just too low of a value for where they believe that they should be and going into the future in the next 6 to 12 months, basically. And I agree with that. I think that offer there is just too low of an offer, right? Also, it's one thing if you're going after a company that's struggling, but Bitfarms is not struggling as a company. They're growing in all these regions and they're upgrading their fleet and they're doing all these things. And they don't have any debt. So it's going to be a tough pill to swallow, I think, in order for Bitfarms to sell the company to anybody, really. But we'll see. Any update on Cleanspark purchase of the Wyoming property, breaking into the 2 parcels? Does this mean the U.S. government is allowing Cleanspark to proceed with their plan? They said they're proceeding with one of the properties. If you look at the release from today, they said that they're going to be close to closing on that property, the one property. They didn't mention anything about the other property, so not sure what's going on there. Hi Sebastian, why is Hive stock price not getting much love? I've said this before. I've been investing in Hive for a long time, since 2017. Got out of it last year in November or December, I think it was, that I sold out of it. Main reason is not a lot of growth there. Their operations are fantastic. Their balance sheet is fantastic as well. And they know what they're doing there. It's just they're not growing that much. They're just kind of keeping steady pace of growth, and that's what you get from them, right? You're not getting these flashy numbers as far as growth is concerned, but their operations are always fantastic. They have good, also SG&A, things like that. So yeah, unfortunately, right now the miners that are getting the most love or value in stock prices is the companies that are growing their hash rate tremendously, and that is really the case here. If you're not really growing a lot to keep up with the network hash rate or surpass it, like Hive is just trying to keep up with being 1% of the network hash rate, right? So I think that's kind of why things are not happening there. Plus, the AI side of things for them, the HPC, we haven't seen the growth they were targeting, at least as far as revenue side of things. I think that's maybe why we're seeing the stock the way it is right now. Hive sold 700 BTC from 24 to 1700. Do you think it's a good move? They might be buying mining site or GPU for AI. Has Hive already reported their operational update? Usually they're like a week out or something like that. So I haven't seen that they sold it, unless they actually broadcasted something. But I don't know why they would have sold it. Maybe to buy machines, buy sites. Yeah, I mean, that's quite a bit of BTC there. Hey Seb, I currently hold CORZ. Don't know what is the ideal time to exercise them and how happy your dad is. Yeah, we don't know that either. We've heard from some people that are saying that those will, like the CORZ W and the other one, the tranches will convert into shares. I don't know how that's going to work out. We're still trying to figure that out, but I've heard it on spaces that people have said that is the way it's going to work. So you don't have to worry about exercising them. You just kind of get them, they get exercised by the company, and then you get shares in regular CORZ, I guess. But don't quote me on that. I'm not even sure on that either. So we're trying to figure that out. We may actually go to like a broker, like one of those Fidelity offices or something like that, and ask them the question and find out how is that going to work out. Because I don't even know. And yeah, my dad is super happy right now. What do you think of the many numbers for Cleanspark? Would you prefer them to sell more Bitcoin, or do you think it's smart to use the ATM to fund their operations? I think I've said this before, and I've said this many times before. I think there's a time where it's beneficial to sell your Bitcoin, right? Depending on the time that we are or the phase of the bear and bull run season. In the bear, I think it's better to sell. And when you get into a bull run like we are now early after having an event, I think it's more beneficial to hold on to the Bitcoin, because if Bitcoin goes up 2x, 3x, you're making that much more increase in revenue, or not. Well, I guess it could be revenue with FASB rules now. But in general, you're making a profit on it 2 to 3x of where it was before. So I think it's beneficial to the investors in the long run. Plus, they could use that then to grow out in the bear market as well, if they do it right, which Cleanspark has done that pretty well in the past. Bitfarms price prediction if it reaches 12 exahash and 21 exahash. 12, it all depends where Bitcoin goes. If Bitcoin is at 70,000, 75,000, and they reach 12 exahash in June, the stock might go up to like $3 and something. Right? If we get to 21 exahash and Bitcoin price is 85,000, right? Well, then they're probably going to go maybe to like $5 or $6. But if Bitcoin's at 150,000 or 200,000, it could be $10, $15. So that's kind of the way you have to look at it. If you had to pick a date to sell your Bitcoin miners today, what would that date be? Oh, wow. I've been hearing a lot of people talk about selling in like December before like the institutions and everybody else kind of takes in their profits for the year and starts selling a lot of these guys here potentially. I'm going to have to take a deep look at where we are by then. It's not an easy thing to say. So I would say maybe right around December, possibly. Somewhere around there, maybe. Do you think a large percentage of the CORZ warrants were executed today? I thought those don't exercise until they actually reach. Let me see if I can pull that up here. I thought the CORZ let's take a look here. We can really take a look at that. Not that one. Let's see. Let me add one here. Let's see. CORZ. What is that? I thought they had to, they would only exercise if they reached a certain amount. Like, so here, let's take a look at this one. I'll show you my screen. So here's CORZ Scientific Tranche 1, right? That is only at $2.56 right now. I think that has to reach $6.81. Not the stock itself, but I think the warrant has to reach that price, doesn't it? Or am I misinterpreting that the way it works? But yeah. At least that's my thought on it. I could be wrong on this, right? I don't get warrants. I don't understand them at least fully right now, in the way that they work. So don't hold my my answer to this because I am not the expert on this. Okay, let's see. Question: why Cleanspark lagging other miners for the past 3 weeks? They could be pulling on the ATM as well. That's one thing. That could be keeping it down also a little bit. And then we've also seen other miners that might be taking a little limelight from them, like IREN. And now we got CORZ as well. So that could be the reason. Plus, Bitcoin's been trading sideways for the past however many weeks here. So that's got something to do with it as well. Let's see here. JBC Sports, I bought 300 of CORZ at 664. Yeah, I think my average is like 660 something right now, based on what I bought. So we're right there. I'm right there with you. Let's see. Were you able to grab CORZ before the pop today? No. I got in, like I said, I got shares at 420, or sorry, 620, 645, and like 680. I was trying to time it a little bit on the dips. Didn't work out that well, so I was kind of chasing it up a little bit, unfortunately. But I'm still happy with it. We'll see where it goes. Let's see here. Brett asks, Seb, you got 50,000 Unite allocated for tomorrow's orders. Yeah, I don't have that much. That would be nice to have, but everything is in the miners right now. And Cleanspark, IREN, Bitfarms, and now I got CORZ even. So everything is in there now. I'll be able to maybe put in a couple $100 a week going forward. I'm pretty much washed out as it is right now on cash. Plus with all the home remodeling and everything else. So that's gone to that as well. And then good old Uncle Sam wanted to take property taxes as well. That was a big chunk went to that as well. Let's see. Albert, he's up 200,000 on Wolf. Congratulations. Nicely done. Let's see. Does it seem as though Cleanspark is hitting the ATM? I mean, we've seen it kind of strange, act weird. In the mornings, it would go up in value, right? Or in price appreciation. And then a couple hours after that, it would like be hitting, coming back down. So I think they are pulling maybe on the ATM based on that. So what do you think the total crypto market cap will be in the bull run? Oh, I don't even know what the total crypto market is right now. I know Bitcoin's like at 1.4 billion, 1.3 billion, or billion, not billion. trillion, I think, right now, right? Where will it be at the peak? I think Bitcoin can probably get to like 3 trillion, somewhere around there, if not a little bit higher, depending where Bitcoin goes. But I don't know about the rest of the crypto market. I mean, everything else is in there. Not sure. Let's see. Is Cleanspark volatility the last month a factor that led to the take profits and increase your position in IREN? Over the next couple of months, do you expect any significant changes or more or the same? No, I've been talking about getting into IREN. I've been buying IREN slowly since November and December of last year, but not as heavily as I probably should have been. So I wanted to kind of remedy that. I've also been up huge on Cleanspark. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to just take the my cost bases in there that I put into it and put it into IREN because I saw it just starting to run up on me. So I figured I'd better do it now before we really get into the bull run. And as far as what do I expect the next couple of months, do you expect significant changes or more of the same? I expect in the next couple of months do things start to look a little bit more sprightly. I believe Bitcoin's going to start going up. I believe it's going to go even up even more into like the fall, September, October, November, and then possibly pop in like November, December timeframe potentially. That's kind of what I'm expecting right now. So right now I am really happy with the positions that I have in all the companies here. Unless I don't plan on buying more. Unless we get some major dip or something like that, then I'll probably deploy a little bit more capital, but I don't have that much right now anyways. Should I sell Hut 8 and invest in IREN and Cleanspark? I mean, that's your call there. You know how I feel about Hut 8. Not a lot of growth there. The only thing that's saving them is the HODL that they have right now. And, I mean, they're getting more into like the managed services side of things and hosting. Yeah, I don't know. That's your call there. I'm not a big fan of Hut 8 right now, not the way that they're operating. Is Riot a good stock? Stock has not performed like other miners. Might be due to dilution. Well, it's partially due to dilution. It's also a lot to do with their operations. Their operations have been horrific here last year. So that has a lot to do with it as well. And remember, what was it, last year, right around like the summertime or was it springtime? At one point, Riot was like the number 1 miner as far as market cap is concerned. Then Marathon overtook him again. And then Cleanspark overtook him as well. And that's mainly because of their operations there. They do have a good growth going forward, or I could say great growth. It just highly depends on how will they execute on the Corsicana facility. How will they improve their operational uptime? That all has to be seen. How many shares of CORZ did you scoop up? Not much, 450 shares. That's all I had that I was able to invest. So it's all in there now. We'll see where it goes. I get the feeling after seeing today's gains, Xmas will be here for all of us. Yeah, I'm kind of thinking the same thing. It'll be a well-deserved outcome potentially for the last, well, it's going to be probably 3 years at that point of investing in these guys and dollar cost averaging and everything else. So it'll be a good reward. Which miners, Cleanspark or Marathon, do you think have better future in terms of stock price if BTC reaches 150,000? Big thing as far as, I think they both will do at least 5x going forward. So who will do better will depend on who can get to their targets by the end of the year, right? Marathon has a target of 50 exahash. Cleanspark has a target of 32 exahash. Cleanspark has miners on order to get to 50 exahash, but I don't know where they're going to plug all those things in. So that's going to be dependent on their operations and also overall, what will their operations be like, right? Marathon hasn't been great over the last couple of months. Their operations have kind of stunk a little bit, but they keep getting into these other business ventures and things like that could be interesting going forward as well. So we'll see, but I expect both of them to do really well going forward. Marathon also has this name recognition, so that is going to be a big help to them as well. What happens if things change and the market starts to value companies on profits, not growth? Is that possible? They do get valued on profits after the bull runs usually. That's when we start seeing the miners go down in price. But I don't know if that's going to happen. Usually in the bull runs, you're looking for growth. You're looking at multiples of growth, things like that are going to be pushing the things up higher in value going forward. But eventually, if Bitcoin ever gets to a point where it gets more stable, more flatlined, right? At that point, and if the miners continue, we don't have huge increases in hash rate as well. If things kind of go up more steadily, I think at that point things will change, and then you're going to be looking more at the profitability, operations, SG&A, all of that stuff. I think after that. Okay. Let's see. I've been hearing BTC dominance might come to an end this month. If it does, how low do you think Bitcoin could fall before it takes off again? I don't think it's going to fall that much more. Maybe to 65,000, if that. We've been seeing that it's been trading sideways. When I see sideways trading, I look at it as, trying to blank here, as accumulation. Right, so people are accumulating at that time frame, and then eventually it will start to pop, and it will pop pretty nicely here. So just be patient. Let's see. Let's see. Had a chat with Matt at Cleanspark. He said they had the did work out about the what? Okay. So I'm guessing they did work out on the Wyoming side. They have two sites there in Wyoming. I know one of them is working out. The other one I'm not sure about. Bitfarms, then Core Scientific. Who do you think is next as a potential buyout? IREN. IREN has a good pipeline to get to 3 gigawatts of facilities and power and all that stuff. If somebody's looking in the AI space and they need a lot of megawatts and potential growth going forward, you might see IREN be one of those that might be a target, right? IREN, who else has pretty good things going forward for them? You can also look at Cipher, really good cost of power. And you can also look at potentially Terawulf as well. So you can look at those. Cleanspark, they still have to buy infrastructure and things like that. They have a lot already right now. But Cleanspark's not getting to the AI side of things. So I don't know if that has anything to do with it or not. Let's see. Especially I like the Bitfarms in all time frames, moving up steadily. Time to buy. I've been buying it for like 2.5 years. I was buying it. Last time I bought it was maybe 3-4 weeks ago. So I mean, I do think that they are way undervalued from where they really should be, and it's basically because of all the FUD that's around them right now. But if they get that sorted out, get the CEO in place and everything else, I expect the stock to do really well going forward. I think maybe once we get the news that they are at 10 exahash and energized, I think maybe the stock will pop at that point as well. Seb, do you keep a percentage of your cash for dips or something new that comes up? I don't usually keep a lot of cash on hand. I do have some cash on hand for emergencies and things like that. Other than that, it's either to pay down like my school or to invest. So I still have school debt that I have to pay off. So hopefully by the end of this cycle, I'll be able to pay off the debt for school and be done with it, which would be really nice to have at that point. But yeah, usually it's just do those types of things. Property tax, yeah. Don't like property taxes, but you got to pay them. Do you hold any Bitcoin ETFs or just the miners? I do hold Bitcoin as well. I hold Ethereum as well, Doge. I always have that disclaimer for you guys in the beginning of the show as far as what I hold, miners and coins. So it's in there. Do you think the mine's price action is pending on May performance report? Mine's price, which miners? All of them? We knew it was going to be not great because we're after the halving event. This is a full month that we've had after the halving event, so we knew it wasn't going to be great. I don't think it's that. I think it's just the miners are waiting for Bitcoin price to start doing something instead of trading sideways. Should we sell some core at this price and maybe buy some Bitfarms? That is your call there. I own both. Right? And I've been buying Bitfarms for a lot longer. CORZ was on my radar, but not until after they got out of bankruptcy. I don't like things after bankruptcy. Needed to see at least a quarter or two of their numbers, but we got some good news here, obviously, last night and possibly a buyout today. So I'm like, I'm going to buy into it. If worst case scenario, I'm going to at least maybe 2x my position. And then if not, I can do maybe even better than that because I do believe Core is way undervalued right now. Kind of like maybe even more than Bitfarms is right now. Well, right now it kind of popped to $6, so I don't know if it's that much more undervalued. I would say it's still undervalued from where it probably should be, at least a 2x from where it is right now. Thoughts on this portfolio? So you got 42% in Bitfarms, 18% in Cleanspark, 19% in CORZ, 19% cash and standby, looking to get out of Cleanspark and perhaps take a position in Wolf or increase position in Bitfarms to 60 thoughts. I mean, that's your case. I mean, that's a pretty good portfolio there as it is right now. Cleanspark can go to like $70. I think Cleanspark can do at least another 5x from where it is right now, just as well as maybe CORZ can do the same thing. I think Bitfarms might do a little bit better. Same thing with like IREN. I'm expecting those to, at least IREN now has gone up quite a bit. So maybe IREN can do like a 7x from where it's at right now. Maybe 7 to 10x, somewhere around there. I think Bitfarms can definitely do at least a 5 to 10x as well. So it's your choice on that. You don't really know who's going to pull out on top. It's going to depend mainly on investors, sentiment, and things like that. But if you have a good basket of the miners, I think you'll do fine. What's the biggest bull case for CORZ? A penny ether shilling. Penny ether shilling. Penny's bullish on it now. What's the bull case for it? I think the bull case for it is if they can get the price up there and the warrants up there to where they need it to be, and they can get some cash to grow their Bitcoin mining even more, swap out some of the older machines. I think that would be more of a bull case there. And then we already have the contract with CoreWeave there. I think that would be the better case of it all. And then if they sell a company to CoreWeave like $2 billion or something like that, then I think that would be not as beneficial, I think, to the company or to the investors as well. That's kind of my thoughts on it, but you never know what's going to happen there. Let's see. Should I sell CORZW now and keep the other two? Not my forte on that one. I don't know about the warrants, so I can't help you there. For fresh entry, which miner is good? Bitfarms, IREN, Core. Who else could you get in there? That's pretty good. Cleanspark as well. Then you got Marathon and Riot, which are kind of like the stables there as well. You could possibly get into those. There's quite a few miners. Nobody really knows which ones are going to outperform the others. As long as you get a good basket of them, I think you'll do fine. And if you don't know, maybe get like the miners ETF, like WGMI or BitQ, or what is it, BitQ, I think, is the other one. I think the premium today is near the max to expected, so I would and did sell it by CORZZ. Now, if you think CORZ will continue, yeah, that's beyond me there, guys. Is Cleanspark stock price struggling because of the ATM? Might be because of that. That's usually what we kind of see, but Bitcoin's been going sideways as well, so. They've had a nice rally here. They're still like the top performing miner here year to date and the last 52 weeks as well. So a little pullback is probably a healthy thing. Let's see. Question: which trading tools do you use? Any reason specific to miners trading why you use what you use? No. The specific tools that I use is all the data that I have on the miners, all the metrics and everything else that I track and keep track of the miners monthly to see how they're operating month over month, and looking for that alpha in there. As far as tools that I use for trading, I use Webull. I like the desktop app that they have. I found it easy to use, a lot of good stuff in there, a lot of good information as well. So I've been using that, but I think any application that you use, as long as you're investing and you're investing for the long term, depending when you got into the miners, right? It might be only now 6 to 12 months before we're going to be selling out of the miners here, depending on where things go. But as long as you're investing and you're mindful of it and concentrate more on I think the timing of the market, not timing the market, you'll do well there. WTF happened to Riot. So what happened to Riot? Riot's still on its path to get to where they're supposed to get to. They installed about 3 exahash. Here, their operations, they curtailed quite a bit here. So we need to see how things are operating in Corsicana. That will be happening here, and probably next month we'll get better data on that. At what point do companies stop using ATMs and use their HODL versus BTC mine for growth? I think, I mean, that's a tough one. I think when they get to scale, eventually they'll stop maybe doing that. Right now, it's just a mad dash to get as much megawatts as you can, hash rate and everything else installed in this bull run, so you can then use that and the hodl that you have to potentially grow in the bear market as well. I think that's kind of the narrative that we're seeing here with the miners. I've been tracking the Mara mempool and saw they reached 50 exahash. Does this mean that they have successfully installed all their miners to 50 exahash according to their target? No, if you're using the mempool and you look at that, that's using the average based on the amount of BTC mined, right? So in 24 hours. And that's kind of how it's calculating the average hash rate at that point. So that's not exact. Mara also has the slipstream service, which they, I don't know, I haven't checked their mempool here lately, but they could have been also putting in blocks that way, which would impact the calculated exahash that they possibly have. But that's not reliable on that one. Don't ever go by that as far as what their hash rate is at any one point. And it's just a calculated estimation, basically, based on the number of blocks they mine in 24 hours. Let's see. The CORZ warrant terms states once the common stock price crosses 872, the warrant can be exercised for, okay, so that one can be, yeah. So that's interesting. So then even if the CORZ doesn't get to that price, if the stock gets to that price, they can exercise those. Interesting, okay. What's the most undervalued and the highest potential miner now? I'm looking for buying opportunity. I think right now, I mean, I'd have to take a look at it again, but I think probably right now Bitfarms might be the one. Because we've had CORZ run up here recently. We've had also IREN run up a little bit here. I think CORZ is still one of those that is still down in the dumps a little bit because of the FUD around it. Let's see. Do you think Wolf can 5x the cycle BTC runs to 100,000? That's only, what is that going to be? 35% increase in, no, that would be close to like 45, 50% increase in Bitcoin. So at that point, you're looking at maybe like 1.5x to like 3x potentially on the miners. I wouldn't say 5x unless they can actually come out with something really, really good news, like getting the additional 6 exahash early this year or something like that. That would be something that might be a catalyst for the stock to go up. Let's see. There it is. Sorry, I missed one. Hi, when are you expecting all-time high from Mara and Riot? For both of those guys, it's going to be probably before Bitcoin peaks. They did that last cycle as well. So somewhere in the next 6 to 12 months. Not sure exactly when it's going to happen, but somewhere in there. Great analysis, Seb. Thank you for your time. Keep hydrated. Yeah, I got to drink more. Appreciate it. Hi, Sebastian. Are you looking Riot? Are you looking Riot most undervalued stock? Looking at third and fourth quarter. I don't think they're the most undervalued stock right now. I think they're pretty well valued for where they are. Maybe a little bit undervalued from their peers. But we just need to see a lot of growth from them and execution on that. So I still think right now Bitfarms is possibly the most undervalued that we have. Okay, I think that is it. I think we have gone a little over an hour. And we've answered a lot of questions. I don't see any new questions popping up here, so we'll probably call it a day here. It's 10:30 right now, my time. So greatly appreciate you guys coming in for these. I do these pretty much every day except for Fridays and one day on the weekend. Because everybody's out partying on Fridays, celebrating that they survived another week. And I want to do the same thing, enjoy it, spend some time with my family as well. Let's see here. We got one final question. Let's see if it pops up. Taking the past dilution into account, do you think Mara can still hit its all-time high? Yeah, I think, what was the all-time high prior? What was it, $80, something like that? 80-something dollars? I think it can still do that because of the growth that they've had in the hash rate. And Bitcoin price is much higher than where it is right now. But yeah, so that is it. Take that one off. I'll see you guys tomorrow. We'll see who else reports as well on that one. We'll see what other update we get. We'll see if we have any clarification on CoreWeave buying, potentially Core Scientific as well. And yeah, I mean, it's going to be a fun couple of months, I think. It's going to be interesting. we'll see where we go. But I think it's all going to be to the upside in the long run. All right. Again, thank you so much for coming in. I'll see you guys tomorrow.